Should you join a real estate team as a brand new real estate agent or an agent who's just trying to grow? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's Dustin Brohm, host of the Massive Agent Podcast, and we're talking about teams today. Should you be joining a team as a realtor? Now, I'm going to approach this from a few different points, okay? So, for context, for the first 2 years of my career, I've been an agent for about 11 now. First 2 years, I was with a team. Now, this was not a very well-established team. It was a very small, team, okay? They paid for my signs, paid for some of the marketing, they gave me some leads, but mostly they held my hand through a bunch of stuff because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And if you didn't know by now, when you go to get licensed for your real estate license, they don't teach you how to be an agent. They just teach you a bunch of stuff that you forget, and then you go into being an agent having no clue what to do. That's where I was. I had no clue what to do. So I joined a team because it would have been up to me completely to figure this industry out. And if you've been in real estate for any period of time, you know it's not the easiest industry. It's super competitive, and there's just a lot of shit you have to learn. There's a lot of stuff you have to know. The contracts in and of themselves are a beast. And so if you have someone who's experienced who can hold your hand and walk you through it, and what was very valuable to me as a brand new agent joining a team was going with them on listing presentations. I was able to go sit down with them at the kitchen table with the sellers and see how that went, see what kind of dynamic that was all about. And I learned a lot. So that helped me, rather than figuring it out myself. I also got to go along on showings. And then when it came time to write offers, I was able to shadow them and watch. So for me, joining a team was huge. But where I was at, and this is what you need to figure out for yourself, I was at a place where I knew that if I didn't get a cheat code to, condense time and somebody could just show me the ropes, I wouldn't have been able to figure it out myself. I was not the type of person at that time who was capable of doing that myself. You may be, and this is where you need to decide for yourself. If you are a self-starter, if you have a ton of confidence, and if you have credibility with your network, credibility with your contacts, you may be able to start out as an agent solo and crush it. Now, you're gonna need support, but there are ways to get that outside of a sales team. I didn't know that back then. So I joined the team for 2 years, 50-50 split. In hindsight, it was a great move because I didn't know any other alternative, and I know I would have failed without them. So had I been more credible with my contacts, if I was an influential person, if I had any credibility with the people I grew up with at all, which I did not, I probably could have done fine on my own if I had some support and some guidance and some training, but I didn't. I was completely thrown in the deep end. If you are somebody who maybe you're partnered with someone, you're with a brokerage, you have some mentors, you have some partners, but maybe you're not an official team and they're going to be a great support for you and there's a ton of training to show you the ropes, maybe you can go it alone. But you have to know where you're at. If you're somebody who can usually figure stuff out, you work well with adversity, when your back's to the wall, you figure shit out, you're probably gonna do well as a solo agent. If you're not, if you know yourself, and you gotta be honest, you have to be self-aware. If you know yourself enough to know that you need a roadmap, you need someone to tell you what to do, at least in the beginning, then it may be worth it to join a team. You don't need to join a team forever. You may decide once you do that you love the dynamic, you love the culture, you love what they provide, and you stay with them for 10 years. Totally fine. But just because you join a team from day one, or maybe you've been an agent for 2 years and you're struggling and you look for a team to provide a little boost of clients and leads, you don't have to do it forever. I'm a big advocate of joining a team temporarily, depending on who you are, where you're at in your career, and where your level of credibility is at. You have to be aware enough and honest with yourself enough to decide where you're at, and based on that, make a good decision. And understand it's not permanent. If that team doesn't work out, it's not forever.